I found out by accident. I was standing in my father's kitchen, the same one where he'd lift me onto the counter to sneak me cookies. An envelope slipped out of his desk drawer and landed right at my feet. It was addressed to my sister's university. I almost put it back without looking, because I trusted him. I always trusted him. But the amount on the check froze the air in my lungs. Tuition, paid in full. For the third year in a row, my hands started shaking. I had just taken out another student loan the day before. I had just told him I might have to drop a class because I couldn't afford the lab fees. He'd looked me right in the eye and said, "I wish I could help more, son." I remember my chest tightening, like something inside me just cracked. It wasn't just the money, it was the lie. Growing up, I believed my dad was my biggest supporter. He never missed my basketball games. He taught me how to ride a bike, running behind me, yelling, "You've got this." He was my hero. I never once questioned if he loved me. I never imagined I'd one day question if he valued me. My sister is 3 years younger. She's smart, charming, the kind of person who lights up a room. My father always called her his princess, but I thought it was harmless. I was his champ. I thought we were equals in his eyes, just loved in different ways. When she got into a private college, he threw her a huge party. When I got into a state university with scholarships, he just patted my back and said, "Proud of you, kid. You'll figure it out." I didn't notice the difference then, or maybe I did, and I just buried it. College for me was a constant game of survival. I worked 2 part-time jobs. I skipped meals so my account wouldn't overdraft. I remember sitting in my dorm room, staring at my tuition bill, my throat tightening as I calculated interest rates. I told my dad I was struggling. He'd sigh on the phone and say money was tight. You know, I'd help if I could, and I believed him. I had to believe him, because the alternative felt unbearable. Then that envelope fell out of the drawer. At first, I tried to rationalize it. Maybe it was a one-time thing, but the paperwork attached showed payment plans, confirmations, emails between him and her financial advisor. It was meticulous, planned, intentional. He hadn't just helped her, he had fully funded her entire education from day one. I felt heat rush to my face, followed by a wave of nausea. My first thought wasn't even anger. It was just confusion. Why wasn't I worth the same investment? When he walked back into the kitchen and saw the envelope in my hands, his expression wasn't guilt or shock. It was irritation, like I'd found something I wasn't supposed to see. "You shouldn't be going through my things," he said calmly. That calmness hurt more than yelling ever could have. I asked him why. My voice sounded so small. He rubbed his temples and said, "Your sister needed more stability. Her program is competitive. You're more independent. You've always been able to handle yourself." Independent. I had always taken that word as a compliment, but in that moment, it felt like a dismissal. "So she gets full tuition," said slowly. "And I get loans?" He sighed like I was being unreasonable. "Life isn't always equal," he replied. "You're strong. You'll be fine." I don't remember leaving his house. I just remember sitting in my car, gripping the steering wheel so hard my knuckles turned white. I started replaying every memory, searching for signs I had missed. And once I started looking, they were everywhere. The time he missed my championship game because he was touring campuses with her. The way he framed her acceptance letter and hung it in the living room, while mine just stayed folded on the kitchen counter. The vacations he took her on to celebrate her achievements, while I stayed home to work. I had always told myself I didn't mind, that I didn't need the spotlight. But maybe I had just learned how to shrink. The betrayal didn't explode. It just seeped into everything. Every phone call felt strained. Every family dinner felt like a performance. My sister didn't even know at first. I asked her casually how she was covering tuition, and she smiled and said, "Dad's taking care of it. He wanted me to focus on school." She said it like it was the most normal thing in the world. I forced a smile and felt something sour settle deep in my stomach. I started questioning my own worth. Was I less talented, less promising, less loved? I had always thought my father saw potential in me. Now, wondered if he just saw someone expendable, someone who didn't need as much care. Rock bottom came during my senior year. I was drowning in debt and stress. I had to turn down an unpaid internship that could have changed my entire career because I couldn't afford to work for free. I called my dad one last time, told him how much it meant to me. He hesitated, then said, "I can't right now. I've got other commitments." I knew what that meant. Other commitments had a name. That night, I sat alone in my apartment and just cried. Not loud or dramatic, just silent tears sliding down my face as I stared at the ceiling. I felt so deeply rejected, not just financially unsupported, but emotionally deprioritized, like I was an afterthought in my own family. But something shifted in me after that. The desperation turned his approval slowly turned into a quiet resolve to stop needing it. After graduation, threw myself into work. I took a job no one else wanted and worked brutal hours. I learned everything I could. I lived cheaply and paid down my loans, inch by inch. It wasn't glamorous. There were nights I questioned if it was worth it. But every single payment I made felt like reclaiming a piece of my own dignity. Years passed. Slowly, things changed. Promotions came. Opportunities opened up. I started my own small consulting firm, taking the kind of risk I'd once been too scared to take. And it grew. It grew faster than I ever expected. Clients trusted me. They valued my resilience, my discipline, the very traits I had developed out of pure necessity. Meanwhile, my father's business began to struggle. Bad investments, market downturns. I heard about it through relatives first. Then one evening, he called me. His voice sounded different, less authoritative, more uncertain. He asked if we could talk about a potential partnership. He said he was proud of what I had built. He said he admired my work ethic. As he spoke, a strange calm washed over me. Years ago, I would have felt a surge of validation. But now, all I felt was clarity. We met at the same kitchen table where I had found that envelope all those years ago. He explained his financial difficulties, hinting that he needed support. For a moment, I saw him not as the towering figure from my childhood, but as a flawed man who had made choices with consequences. I asked him something I had rehearsed in my mind for years. Why did you pay for her and not for me? He didn't deflect this time. He looked down at his hands and admitted he'd always seen my sister as more fragile, more in need of protection. He thought I was strong enough to handle hardship. He said he believed I'd succeed either way. That wasn't your decision to make, I said quietly. You don't test one child's strength by withholding support. The silence that followed was heavy, but it was honest. In the end, I chose to help him, but on my terms, as a business decision, not as a son desperate for his father's approval. We drafted contracts, we set clear boundaries, and for the first time in our lives, our relationship actually felt balanced. I don't know if he ever fully understood the depth of the wound he created. Maybe parents rarely do, but I understand something now that I didn't back then. His favoritism was about his own fears, not my value. I paid for my own education. I built my own success. Every achievement I have carries the weight of all those nights I thought I wouldn't make it. And there's a kind of pride in that no one can ever take away. When I think about that envelope now, I don't just remember the betrayal. I remember the moment I stopped measuring my worth by someone else's investment. He may have secretly paid for my sister's future, but I built mine from scratch. And in the end, that foundation feels unshakable. Thanks for listening to my story. If you've ever felt like this, know that you're not alone. Hit that follow button for more stories like this one.